All right, in lesson 13, we're going to tackle painting out the eyebrows in each of our maps. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to rename this Dustin Albedo. And then I'm going to duplicate it. No, this one is the one I want to name. So this is our ScanStore base that was like never we haven't really touched other than making it look like Dustin. But we're going to come here and we're going to paint out our eyebrows. But before we do that, I want to bring in each of our textures. So I'm going to duplicate this. So it's duplicated 3 times. Actually, I think 4 times. And then we're going to name this one Albedo. And then we're going to name this, and let's see which ones we have. So let's go back to our elements. Let's go to male and anim ready, and then we are going to go to textures. I guess we go to Targa, and then we can see that we have color, normal, roughness, specular, and that's pretty much it for those. And then, like, we've got our, we're not using any of these. It's for the ones for the mouth, but we're not changing that stuff. So let's get our color in. So for Albedo, it's already in. Let's do specular. And then roughness. And then our normal. And we could easily do this again in Mari if we wanted to. I'm not using Mari for this just because I'm trying to keep it simple. And we can do all that stuff here. So we're going to bring in our specular for this guy. Let's go to texture, import. I'm going to go and import all of these in. So let's go to elements. Let's go to male, textures, Targa, and let's do color down the body. So all these body ones. So now we can see, I don't think it likes Targas. So let's go to the JPEGs. And then import those in. Take a second. And then what we need to do is we need to come here. We're doing specular right now, so let's do specular. We need to flip this because ZBrush is weird. And then we can come here to our, wherever the texture thing is, texture map. And then grab this. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to make sure we're at 6, and then I'm going to polypaint from texture. So that's going to convert the texture map to the actual polypaint. So now he's got all of that everywhere. Let's go ahead and do this for the other ones. So roughness. roughness. Go ahead and flip that, and then come here. Again, we're going to go ahead and poly paint that. And then let's go ahead and do our normal map one. And let's do normal map, flip it, and come down here. Do we switch? Yes. And then texture, normal map. And then go ahead and poly paint that too. So the main reason we're bringing these in here is because we have eyebrows, so we don't want to use this information. So what I'm going to do again, one of our favorite brushes, we're going to come back here. We're going to go to B, extract, drag rectangular, and I'm going to go ahead and G, and then just kind of select an area I think that would be okay for what we're going to fill in here, and that is like this. So let's go ahead and grab that. And now we have that. We want to turn off add because we're just doing color for this. And then let's go ahead and just replace, not sure what's going on with that, but it's not coming out right. I want to see what he looks like with no. Okay, so that's why. So I guess we haven't done that in the actual. So before we do any of that, let's come back here to our guy. And we need to get that out of the actual sculpt. So come here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come here and go back to B. Let's just do standard. And then we can just kind of smooth that out a little bit on each side. And then we're going to, like we were going to do before, we're going to bring this back up one. Get rid of it some more. Bring it up to 6 and then get rid of it even more. I'm going to bring this up a little bit, the intensity. And then get rid of all that. So that we can't see our actual sculpted eyebrows because we don't want those in there. So now we're going to go back to extract and let's do G. Let's grab this area. And now let's go ahead and let's first of all change the brush size to a little bit bigger so we can actually work. And then let's do B, extractor, drag rectangular, and let's find maybe this area. And then we've got that. So for our purposes, let's go ahead and just turn color off. Well, turn color off for now. And we're just gonna come here and just turn the color off so we don't have to see it. And just try to fill in this area again. Again, you can be as precious as this as you want to. I'm just kind of showing you what I would do. And that's at least the sculpting portion of it. And then let's turn back on the color. Let's go to a more neutral thing, and then let's try to see, that's way too tan, and I think our intensity is just up way too much. So let's try to, gradually blur that eyebrow texture out. And then we can check this on flat and kind of see a little bit more. So like now we can see that there's still some eyebrow in there that we're missing. So let's just continue to gradually get that out of there. And I'm thinking that albedo looks pretty good. All right, so let's go ahead and fix this too. For the albedo and the sculpt, that's done. Now, let's go ahead and delete these again because they still have the eyebrow. So, delete, delete, delete. And then let's go ahead and duplicate him 3 times. And rename this again specular. Roughness. And then let's go back to here. And we will go to texture map. Alright, so it's not in there anymore, that's right. Texture, import. Go to our elements. Back in here again, and then we want to go to textures, JPEG, and then grab all 3 of these, 4 of these, I guess. It'll take a second to load. And then we're on the specular one, so let's go load him. Up, go to texture, specular, flip. And then polypaint from texture. Oh, you know why it didn't do that? So let's go ahead and turn that back on. And then full RGB intensity, and then polypaint from texture. And then let's go to roughness. Let's go to texture, load that, flip it, come back down, load it, polypaint from texture, and again with the normal, texture, load, flip. And polypaint from texture. And then let's go ahead and start with this one. And again, let's go ahead and we've already painted out the sculpt part of this. So we're just going to add in some of the extractor from the color of the specular map. So let's go ahead and do G, since we're still in the extractor brush, and then we can grab that area. And then let's go ahead to our dust and roughness. This actually seems pretty good. There's usually a little bit of like shininess above the brows. The lips being shiny. And this actually is pretty good. I don't really need to touch this at all. And then let's get the eyebrows out of the display, the normal map. Alright, now that should be good for all 4 of these. And we're going to go ahead and export these textures. I want to put them in a place that's easy to find. So let's go to our Gnomon projects, and then we can come here to source images. And we don't have anything yet, so let's go ahead and name this version 1. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to here. Let's save this real fast. ZBrush, make that number 14. Alright, so with all that done, we're going to go ahead and save these right now. Textures, what it's doing right now. And it crashed. Alright, welcome back. Right now I'm just turning all of our textures to low so that like our scene is a little faster. And then we're going to go ahead and export out all these textures. Apparently I need a new computer. This thing's like slow. Alright, so we're all low. When we export out the textures, they'll extract out at the highest level just because that's how Multimap works. And then what we're going to do is we're actually going to come to this guy first. Come here to, so we just want to do displacement, vector, and our texture map. And then let's make sure that our, so file names. I've got a new file name thing that ZBrush, I don't know if I'm supposed to actually show this, but it's here. I'm going to have it no subtool name, and then I'm going to have these be the extensions. And for this, go ahead and do OK. And if you're using VDM, which I don't know if we're going to use to render it with, but like if you're ever using VDM, with pretty much every renderer, you have to go in and actually change this thing. So if you go under preferences, export, vector displacement, and change this to 7 and change this to 11. That's going to make your VDM export come out correctly. I mean, you're not your VDM, but your vector displacement. I guess it is a VDM. And then we are going to export these. So I'm going to go ahead and do 8K. And then we are going to go create all maps. And then go to where we wanted our texture files. And come in here. And then because I have that new namer, I'm going to just name this Dustin. And then it should, when we export these out. So Dustin save. And normally I'd be working with like a UDIM workflow. So we would have, like this would be going through every UDIM. And I can show that process too if you'd like. I'll go ahead and do that next just to show that. And let's show where our files are going. I think that's done. Yep. So our displacement settings are 0 subpixels, 0 mid, and then just come here to scale, leave that at 1, 32-bit EXR. If you go to vector displacement, you have on all of these. And then for texture, is just grabbing the texture from the polypaint. And then for our, let's see, yeah, that should be right. So then let's go back down. Let's come here to our Dustin Specular. Let's go ahead and hide that. And then we are going to just do texture again. And we are going to do create. And I'm just going to let it keep the name that's in here, just so that we can change it after. And we only want the texture polypaint. So let's go ahead and save this out. All right, and you can see that that is, I didn't give it a name, so that would be Dustin. And then let's do Specular. And then let's go to our roughness. Come back up to multi-map. Export this out, create all maps. Just say Dustin. All right, that is saved out, and let's go ahead and change that name. Roughness, RGH. And then let's do our normal. So it crashed on us again. I'm not sure why, but crashed. So let's open it back up. So now that we're back from our crash, let's go ahead and export this out also. So export, Dustin, we can just do save. Oh, we'll go here, source images, save. And then we have all three exported out. And now let's make sure all of our objects are exported out. So I know we don't need to export these because we already have them. We have not exported the eyebrows or the eyelashes. We don't need this stuff, and we do not need the eyes because they're already exported out. So let's go ahead and re-export this stuff. So let's go to FBX, visible, export, and let's go to OBJ, FBX, and then let's call this eyes and teeth. Let's save that. And let's end this lesson.